A la clase de español. Welcome to Spanish class. More specifically, welcome to Spanish 20 of the 3Y program. My name is Miss Enriquez. Mi nombre es Señorita Enriquez en español, por favor. And I thought I'd put together a little welcome video here to guide you through the format that we use here at Argyle. It is quite different than other schools, as you already have noticed, I'm sure. So I'm going to guide you through the programs we use, how the course is set up. The class does run differently, even than some of the classes here at Argyle. So there's quite a lot of information to get through. So I thought I'd put together a video so you can go through it at your own time. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first off, guys, it's really important for you to know exactly what course you're in and what program you're in. So I'm actually in charge of all 3 Spanish programs here at Argyle. So the 3Y program, the 6Y program, and the 9Y program, which means there are 18 different levels of Spanish. So it's really important that you know which one you're in. So this course is Spanish 20, Language and Culture. The program is 3-year, or a lot of the time you'll see it as 3Y. And all that means is that it takes 3 years for you to complete this program. So first, second, third year, usually it corresponds with grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. That's not always necessarily the case. Some students start earlier, some start later, but that's usually how it goes. And again, grade 10 would be beginner, grade 11 would be intermediate, and grade 12 would be advanced. So you're right here in the middle with Spanish 20 at the intermediate level. So looking at that a little closer, this would be your second year of formal Spanish education. So ideally, you've already completed Spanish 10 of the 3Y program. So this doesn't mean that you spent a year living in a Spanish-speaking country where you went to an English school, or that you were at home in a Spanish-speaking home but never really studied Spanish. You do need at least 1 year under your belt of formal Spanish education. So at least studying the grammar, the vocab, all that fun stuff. You've had some exposure to the Spanish language, so you're really comfortable with the sounds of Spanish and the rhythm of the language. And also, if you are, since you're in high school, if you're planning to go to any post-secondary education programs like university, colleges, things like that, the most widely accepted program is most definitely the 3Y program. So if you're hoping to use this to get accepted into a post-secondary institution, this is definitely the place to be. So first, I'd like you to pause. If you do not meet any of these requirements, or you only meet some of them, I need you to contact me right away and let me know. So either drop me an email, give me a quick phone call, or you can even pop by the school. I love meeting my students in person. I so rarely get to do so because everything's online. So you can definitely pop by the school so we can chat and I can find the right level for you. Guys, I don't mind moving you. That is not a problem at all. But what is very important is that you are placed in the right level to make sure that you're set up for success. So if you don't meet these requirements, please let me know right away before continuing, and I will make sure that you're in the right place. If you do meet all 3, let's go ahead and keep going. So what to expect this year? First off, this is a full year course. Yes, all language courses with Edmonton Public Schools have been designed to take a full year. So keeping that in mind as you move forward. Also, expect roughly about 3 hours of work each week. Now, this is your responsibility. This doesn't mean that you come to class for 3 hours each week. The amount of time you actually spend in class is very different each week, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But roughly, you are working on the material 3 hours a week, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but that is 100% your responsibility to make sure that you keep on top of your workload. Next, the steps for class. So number 1, you will watch an instructional video. Number 2, you will complete written assignments. Number 3, you will complete written assignments. That is the structure of the entire course. So you watch the video, do the written assignments. Usually there are worksheets or projects, and then you complete your verbal assignments. Then you move on to the next video and you do it all over again. Guys, these instructional videos, I cannot stress enough how important they are. So as you probably would have guessed with 3 different programs and 18 different levels, it's almost impossible for me to catch all my students, especially since a lot of them are in school all day, or they're working or volunteering or in sports. So what I've done is that I've taken everything that I would have taught you in class and I've made instructional videos on my own time so you can watch them on your own time. But here's the thing. Please, whatever you do, don't just flop on the couch and kind of play it in the background and hope that some of it sinks in. That won't work. You will miss a lot of information. So when you're watching these videos, one, know that I can see how long you spend on these videos. Hint, hint. So make sure you're watching them from beginning until the very, very end, and do it very seriously, as if I was right there with you, giving you the lesson. So I suggest that you usually have a notebook open where you're jotting down notes, or a separate tab open where you can type as you listen and watch the video, writing down notes, important information, specific questions that you might have for me afterwards, or any particular areas that don't make sense to you and that you would like to go through together afterwards, right? So taking your time watching them as much as you need to. Once you're comfortable with the videos, then you can go ahead and start working on your written assignments. Like I said, they're usually worksheets or projects. They're all submitted on Google Classroom, and I'll show you that in a moment. And lastly, you need to complete your verbal assignments through Blackboard with me. So yes, that means you will be interacting with me directly in Spanish. So guys, a lot of people think this is a correspondence course. This is not a correspondence course. This is an online course. So you won't just simply be filling out worksheets and sending them to me and getting a full mark. That way, that will not happen. The majority of your marks actually are your verbal assignments. This is a language course, so it is expected that you speak out loud in Espanol on a weekly basis. Which brings me to the next point. You need to have a working mic, or else I won't be able to hear you. If I can't hear you, you won't complete your verbal assignments. And if you don't complete your verbal assignments, you will not get a final mark in this course. So make sure you have a working mic. Sometimes they come, lately, all the new laptops come with mics embedded in them. If you don't have that, you can always buy a mic separately and connect it to your existing computer. Lots of options. And of course, if you have any problems with that whatsoever, you can always contact me and I'll help you out. Lastly, there's no set class time. Like I said, the class time is those instructional videos. However, once you get through the material, you do need to attend class once per week. That is your attendance requirement. You can do so anytime on Mondays between 9 and 10, 11 and 12, and 2 to 4. So you can come one Monday at 9, the next Monday at 11, the Monday after that at 9 and 11. It's really up to you. I have students that are very quick with their assignments, so they check in right in the morning. They get it done. They're only there for a few moments. I check them off, and they're good to go. Some students like to check in during all 3 time slots. They like to practice their Spanish with me or have their work edited. Whatever you need, all of that is more than welcome. So every Monday, 9 to 10, 11 to 12, and 2 to 4, you sign into Blackboard and get extra help, ask questions, and of course, when you're ready, completing those verbal assignments and presenting your projects. All right, so that is the format of the course. The programs that we use in this course are 3. There's Google Sites, Google Classroom, and Blackboard. If you've taken Spanish with me at Argyle before, you were probably expecting Moodle. We will not be using Moodle this year, so you can go ahead and forget that for a moment. Google Sites, you actually start with a School Zone. So you sign into School Zone, you go to Apps, and then to Sites. And again, I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Once you do that, you get taken to a place that I'm calling the launching pad or the starting point. It looks a little bit like this. Again, you want to keep an eye out for labels like this. So make sure that if you're in the 3Y program, you're taken to the 3Y program launching pad. If you see a 6Y or a 9Y, then you are in the wrong place. Just send me an email. That just means your profile has been linked to the wrong site, and I will make sure to get that fixed for you. But once you're here in the right program, the 3Y program, you'll see these 4 icons. There'll be more information below, but this is just a general idea of what it looks like. and literally this is everything that you need for the course. So the first one, you click on this icon, it will take you straight to the Blackboard session. So that's where you come to speak to me directly and to complete those verbal tasks, those verbal assignments. A little tip, when you click the icon, it will ask you for your first and last name. Guys, make sure you're actually putting your first and last name or your last initial, because it's the only way I can see who you are. So as much as I appreciate nicknames and funny names and all that fun stuff, I might chuckle, and then I will definitely ask you to sign out and sign back in with your proper name, please, or else I won't know who you are. Next is your Google Classroom icon. You click on that. That's where you're taken to the Google Classroom page. You select classwork, the classwork tab, and that's where you'll see all the units. You'll see the instructional videos and, of course, the written assignments that go with it. Next, who is your teacher? I know in this format, sometimes students don't really get a chance to see what I'm like or hear me teaching and really get to know me. So I put together a little video in case you want to see it that gives you a little more information about who I am, where I come from, what my teaching background's like, what I expect from my students, and of course, what my students should expect from me. And lastly, of course, is your welcome video. So I posted it there just in case you need to go back and review anything, or simply if you feel like watching it again. I know it's quite a riveting video. Okay, so that is Google Sites. That's your launching pad. We'll look at Google Classroom a little closer. Again, that's where you hand in all your written assignments and projects. So guys, make sure you're actually submitting on Google Classroom, not sending it to me via email or via Google Share. It goes directly on here. This is what the page looks like. Sometimes little bits here and there will look different, but most of it looks the same. Again, making sure Spanish 23Y is right there. Here it doesn't say students for you, it will say classwork. So that's where you click in and you will see the units, the videos, and the worksheets. And once you're done, a little submit button will pop up. You press submit and then I receive it on my end. So yes, that's where all your written assignments are. Lastly, your Blackboard. So this is where you come online for your verbal assignments to ask questions and discuss assignments, etc., etc. In the past, we used several icons. Right now, we're moving towards this purple one. So hopefully that's the only one you see. But if you see any other ones like the laptop and this little Blackboard here, don't be alarmed. It all takes you to the exact same place, to Blackboard. Okay, so to get started, you go to School Zone, you sign in with the same information you've had the entire time you've been with Edmonton Public Schools. Once you're in, it looks a little different because this is a teacher view, so your student view will look a little different, but you get the idea. This is where you come for your school news, for your class news. Under student profile or reports, you'll see your report cards, your interim marks, updated marks, all that fun stuff. However, if you go School Zone, apps, click on apps, there is your site. So you click on sites and it takes you directly to your launching pad, which again is where everything is. So School Zone, apps, sites. Okay, so a little bit of a recap here. So steps to take in order to be successful in this course. I've said it plenty of times now, so make sure you watch the instructional video first. Very, 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 very important. Number 2, complete the corresponding assignments to each instructional video before moving on to the next video and assignments. Guys, so everybody will be working at a different pace. There'll be some students behind you, some students ahead of you. So if you're working on a particular assignment or a particular unit and you see the next 2 or 3 units pop up, don't start jumping around. Don't worry, move at your own pace, focus on your own unit, and make sure you complete the assignments in order. Language courses are designed so one concept leads to the next. So at the beginner level, we start with the alphabet, then the sounds of the language, then simple words and simple sentences and complex sentences, and eventually independent conversations. So if you start jumping around from independent conversations to the alphabet and things like that, all you do is miss information and at the end of the day make things way more complicated and difficult for yourself. So don't worry, don't be in a rush, just make sure that you complete everything in order. Again, you need to attend a class a minimum of once per week. So every Monday, make sure you check in. It could be for 5 minutes, it could be for several hours. It's up to you. But again, you do have to attend once per week, and this is a requirement. Number 4, complete all written assignments on Google Classroom. Number 5, complete all verbal assignments on Blackboard. And a heads up, be ready to dedicate all of January to the midterm exam and all of June to the final exam. So I give students a heads up in September because the midterm and final exams do take quite a bit of prep time. It's a great time for students to really bump up their grades and really recap everything that they've learned in the previous semester. I help you every step of the way, but it's really important that you get all your other assignments done before then. If you don't, you will be overwhelmed. It will be way too much work to do trying to get your assignments done in January and June as well as your exams. So I'm giving you plenty of time to make sure that doesn't happen. So again, make sure you have your semester 1 assignments done before January, your semester 2 assignments done before June. Okay, so now we have a plan. Let's do this. And just like these lovely penguins look very determined, I think one of them looks a little confused, which is okay too. I'm ready, and hopefully you are all ready to get to work as well. So I'm wishing you buena suerte, good luck, y éxito en este nuevo curso, and success in this new course. Guys, I look forward to seeing you all in class. Gracias. Adios.